Hey y'all, it's Michael. Let's talk about the books that I'm going into for the week of August 24th, 2025. I thought I would do more of this style, like just a little bit of an update, because I haven't been doing that and I'm trying to keep myself accountable. Okay, so first off, I did finish an audiobook. I'm gonna just post that little clip now. Also, from the last video, I forgot to mention that I am also listening to an audiobook. Hold on, let me find the narrator. Because that's one thing I realized when about 70% through it. And I was like, oh my god, I was editing my video and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell y'all about the audiobook. See, this don't tell me the narrator, and I hate when they doesn't do that. I need to know the narrator. The narrator is important. Okay. The Burning Earth by Sunmil Amrith, narrated by Esh Ayadi. This is pretty good. This is a nonfiction about, essentially it's like looking at history through nature and like how we as a society, as humans, have affected nature and how that in turn has shaped history and like what nature has done, like vice versa and whatnot. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really liking it. You can tell it's very well researched, and I'm liking all the little fun facts. If you like history, I think you'll like it. The thing though is like, it seems very introductory in my opinion on some of the topics that it covers, because like it doesn't even go into deep, like I'm not expecting it to go into deep topics like DDT and whatnot, but I was glad that that was mentioned, because when I was in high school I did a whole like extracurricular thing where we read Silent Spring. I don't know if y'all ever saw that book. It was basically a book that talked about DDT and like its effects of it. It was basically this spray. Oh my god, now I'm going to a tangent. It was basically this spray where like they sprayed like they sprayed crops, people, everything for like essentially like mosquitoes and whatnot. But come to find out, of course, it was dangerous. It caused like birth defects, like a whole bunch of like people got sick. People were dying. Yeah, so I remember doing that, and I'm glad that that was a shout out. There's like little history moments, like about like even about like the little ice age and all that stuff. I kind of wish that it also like had more scientific, like a little bit of scientific like little nuances. I think that would be greatly appreciated, because when you're talking about like history and humans, the science aspect of it I think is like very important, like how like more of the science thing. I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly, but I am really enjoying it, and I can tell like it's very well researched. I'm gonna eat my words. On that last clip, you saw that I was like, oh yeah, they should definitely talk more about Silent Spring. Well, y'all, come to find out, they do. Y'all, I need to get a haircut for real. I think my hair's going too long, and at this point, I think it's just sporadic, whatever's going on with it. But anyways, okay, so let's talk about some books. I'm super excited because I am in the groove and I love it so much. I feel like I'm really on point with my reading, and I love that about me. Like my reading so far is just going excellent, and not even the consistency of like all the books that I'm constantly reading, but like the quality of the books I think is just a-okay. Okay, so I'm excited. Let's just talk about some books. I'm excited to talk about some stories. So first off, when I say this week, I really mean this week, but you know, coming up next week, yeah, it just whatever. So this week, I finally finished The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon. I've been reading this forever because it's super long, okay? Incredibly long. And overall, I really enjoyed this. I thought this was such a fun adventure type of novel. The thing though is, like in the beginning it's one thing, but towards the end, as we reached the finale, I was like, oh, it's really not what I thought it was essentially going to be. This is essentially a story about Joe and Sammy, and this takes place during the golden age of comic books, and around World War II. And I thought that's what the story is essentially going to be, about these two boys like coming up with an idea of a comic book series and seeing how it goes. And then I started to realize, I was like, wait, I think this is like a fictionalized account of like true events. Because at one point I was like, huh? And I think that truly, I don't want to say blow my mind, but it truly brought me for a loop in the beginning. I was like, oh wait, I think this really happened because it started to mention like real things, and then at one point, Stan Lee was up in this thing. I said, "What? Hold up now. What? I was like, hold on, what's going on, Stan Lee?" But in the end, it really wasn't about that. It's really about these two characters, Sammy and Joe, and how they overcame all their obstacles in life, essentially during these times, and all the hardships that they have to encounter. And this idea of like a story of comic books of like what is a superhero essentially. I would say while I really did enjoy this, I could not give this 5 stars for the life of me because there was that one thing that it really didn't. I wouldn't say jive with me, and I think that's because of the timeline and how the story's told. Now, prose wise, I really personally enjoyed the writing style, and that's because it is very verbose. The prose are just there's a lot of words, okay? I've been saying this on like my other social media too, but there is a lot of words up in this. Like I really like it. I love that aspect of just like words. I love a writer that can write. Like a writer that just is writing. I think the word that I'm looking for is jarring. A lot of the storytelling, it for me it doesn't really flow as smooth. And at points it is jarring in the way that it introduces the way that the timeline is jumping. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I think that's like my one gripe about it. Once I got the flow and the groove of the writing style, it clicked for me. So for this week, I have priority books essentially because of the way my book club are landing. So I'm just gonna start from the top priority. Okay, so the 2 books that's the prioritize this week are these 2 for my 2 people book club. So the first one is Harlem Rhapsody by Victoria Christopher Murray. This is the 2 people book club for me and Dom, and the thing is, I need to finish this because I need to plan also the book for September, which is crazy because August is almost over. And I'm about halfway through. I think I have like 2-3 more hours left with this, and I am going a little bit slower, just so like he can catch up with me, and I'm taking notes also. But overall, I'm really liking this. This is a fictionalized account of Jesse Redmond Fawcett, who was essentially the co-editor of The Crisis, which was a black-owned publication with W.E.B. Du Bois, and this is really good. Like I was saying that this makes such a great book club book because it has that like scandalous, gossipy type of vibe to it, which is great. Like it's and it has like scandalous moments. I'm really liking now. I don't want to talk too much. Here I go. I was about to talk a lot about this. I want Dom and I to talk about it. But he said, "Oh my gosh, it's like very juicy," which I'm really liking, and I'm loving all the Harlem Renaissance people like popping up, essentially, kind of like cameos in a way. But so far, I'm really liking it, and it is like very scandalous, very like ooh. So yes, I'm excited to talk about this with him. I'll talk more about it once I finish it because I don't want him to watch this and then Anyways, next. Is the 2 people book club with me and Mayel, which is Walking with Miss Millie by Tamara Bundy. The thing though is like, it's really going fast for me. Y'all, I forgot, y'all, middle grade, bruh. I haven't read a middle grade in a minute. So for me, it's just like, wow, I'm going through this like super fast. So like, I think according to the Bookly app, I think I'm gonna finish this in about an hour. So I'm trying to slow down with it, but I will finish it this upcoming week because we're gonna talk about it. Now, see, here's the thing with the 2 people book club. I need to keep tabs on folks, okay? Because I need to see where she's at with this because I keep texting her and I'm asking her, hey, how are you doing with the book? It's almost the end of the month. Like, hey, what's going on? She's like, good. And here's the thing, I don't want to talk too much about it because then, me and her, we have to talk about it. But it's like, okay, so what does good entail? Like, good is like you're halfway through, you're almost finished because it's almost at the end of the month. But so far, I'm liking this. It's essentially about a little girl who moves down to Rainbow, Georgia. I was like, is that a real place? I gotta look that up, okay? I gotta see if that's a real place because that would be really kind of cool. It's about a girl who moves down to Rainbow, Georgia. and she essentially gets in trouble with her neighbor, Miss Millie, and so she ends up taking her. This is essentially the photo right here. She essentially ends up just like doing little tasks with her, and like they end up like walking and whatnot. And so far I like it. Now, Mayel picked this book, right? Mayel picked this book, and I was like, okay, sure, whatever. I'll pick whatever book you want to pick. This takes place around when Martin Luther King just got assassinated, so I'm interested to see like that's the good thing about like this type of book club, because since she's like what 10 since she's like 10 essentially, I'm really interested to hear what she thinks about this, because like she doesn't even know what a phone is, like a house phone is, because she's not exposed to that. Like that was blowing my mind reading this, because I was like, oh my gosh, she probably doesn't even know what a party line is. Like she doesn't know that like for you to talk on the phone you have to go like this at that time. Like that is crazy, yo. That is crazy. Like she doesn't even know that there were people whose job was it to connect. Like that was their job, to connect you to, like, yo. I'm excited. So I'm really excited to talk to her about that, because there's a part in here where I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if she even knows about that. And I'm also excited to see her take, because since she's so young, about like segregation or like post-segregation, to see like what's going on with that, like with the civil rights and whatnot. I'm really interested to hear her thoughts. So yay, that's exciting. All right, so next, priority wise, I need to finish this. Now I might not finish this, just to let you know. This is On a Sunbeam by Tillie Walden. This is a graphic novel, and I've been meaning to finish this for a while because I've had it. I decided to pick this because I saw Brian K. Vaughan on here, and I was like, ooh, I like Brian K. Vaughan. And then also, y'all, little known fact, y'all, how come Brian K. Vaughan is up in here? Y'all, he is literally in this story. I said, oh, this is great. Like, this is what, like, he was up in here. This is crazy. But yeah, so I need to finish this. Okay, it still says I can renew it. So, okay. Let's talk about audiobooks, because I am into my audiobook kick. I'm just listening to them as I go to work. The one that I am currently listening to is called Night Flyer: Harriet Tubman and the Fate Dream of a Free People by Tia Miles, narrated by Janina Edwards. This book is really good. At first I thought it was like a straight up biography about Harriet Tubman, but as it kept going on, I was like, oh no, this isn't. It's in the vibe of like a spiritual biography, and I'm really enjoying it. The book essentially explores not only like Harriet Tubman's life essentially, but more of like a spiritual religion aspect of it, like point of view, and it's so fascinating. The one thing that I would say I would have a caveat with it is because one of the main thesis essentially is to demystify Harriet Tubman, of myth, like essence about her, and so this book is one of those that like it even mentions that, and so it's trying to demystify about it, and so far I'm not gonna lie, it seems I don't think it's doing it that much of a great job, but that's not like a bad thing, because the parts in here like about her story and about how like she's going through like seeing visions and whatnot, and all the hardship that she's going through, it's really interesting. And so I'm excited to see about how I feel about it towards the end, because I also am enjoying the aspects of like other Black enslaved women that is brought up into this topic, because they were having very similar like spiritual encounters. So I'm excited about it. I'm really enjoying it. So next, I downloaded a book. Now let's talk about e-reader wise. I downloaded a book and I couldn't read it on my Kindle. So I was like, oh dang, now I'm gonna have to read it on my tablet. And so I was like, okay, sure, why not? I saw it on the Libby app as I was scrolling, and it like really caught my eye. It's called The Delectable Negro: Human Consumption and Homoeroticism Within U.S. Slave Culture by Vincent Woodward. This is really fascinating. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, what's this about? And essentially it's because I'm only at chapter 1, because I just finished the preface, and it's essentially about cannibalism, how enslaved people were eaten by like white masters, but it also has this connotation about like homoeroticism, but then not also just like the physical eating of flesh, but also I'm assuming I'm assuming as we get further into the as I get further into the book, also like not just the physicality of that act, but also the symbolisms of it and like the overall bigger cultural impact of that. It's I'm not gonna lie, it's wild. And so that's the thing when I read like nonfiction. For me, like I'm approaching it as if like there is a thesis, there is a statement that you're making, especially with these like historical type of nonfiction, that there's this thesis that you're presenting to the reader. It's also as your job as an author to like you're convincing me almost like you're telling me, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm convinced. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like this book is going to be really, really good. Like in the way, like 5 stars good. I'm already feeling that essence. I'm really liking it so far. So there's that. Now, e-reader wise, I was like, you know what? Let me get an e-reader too because I was like, sure, why not? And then I saw my library app and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this one, which is Unearthed for Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I attempted to read this a while back, but I just stopped because the book was due and it got returned, and so I didn't finish it. So now I'm determined to finish it. I want to see how I fall in line with Ocean Vuong and see where I stand. I just want to see. So we'll see how that goes. Since I finished this, I wanted to, because I'm trying to read a lot of more books from my personal library. And so I was just scavenging around, okay, through my personal library. And then I found this and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, let me read this. This is The Portrait of a Lady by Henry James. It is thick. One of the reasons is because, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still on that Gilded Age kick because I love that show. And then I was like, ooh, is this Gilded Age coded? And it low-key is. So yeah, I just started on it because I just finished the like the preface and whatnot, the introduction and whatnot, and then a few of the chapters. So far I'm really enjoying it. It's essentially about Isabel, who's an American going to Europe and hoping she finds, you know, a man. And I was like, oh my gosh, because I don't know if it's like I gravitate towards that because like I enjoyed the Buccaneers like when I was reading it. I was like, oh my god, it's really good. And then recently the Gilded Age just did a storyline with that, and so I was like, oh, so I'm excited. I'm gonna tell you now, I love this. I'm loving this. I love this type of writing style for me because it's just like it brings back that. Ooh. And I was listening to this with classical music at the coffee shop, and it's just it gives a vibe. And so far, I'm really liking it. We'll see how it goes, because there's a lot of pages left. So we'll see how that goes. But so far I'm liking it. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Yay! Little thing about this book. I know I found this at Goodwill because it has this sticker on here, which probably meant this book was like 50 cents. So yeah, I'm slowly going through my personal library so I can start culling out even more books because I need to do that soon. Again, yeah, those are all the books and whatnot. I got a really big, heavy reading week. I'm excited. I really am. Like, I also bumped my, one thing I also did was bump my, my reading goal every day is to read 1 hour. But I was like, you know what? I need to do more because I'm trying to also lower down my screen time because I was looking at it and I was like, oh, that's a lot. So I bumped up my, my reading goals now to 2 hours a day, and so far it's been going really, really good. I'm finally getting back into the groove of the reading thing, and I'm excited. So I don't know how I'm going to do the videos and whatnot, just to let y'all know, just to be transparent, because I don't know if I probably won't record my whole conversations about these books for the 2 People Book Club, but I'll like do clips and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes. But I'll see y'all next week and let y'all know how my reading is going. And I'm hoping to make a really big dent, and we'll see if I'm able to keep up with my reading. So yes, if you read any of these books, let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. Look at it. Until then, I'll see you guys till next time. Bye!